Hello and welcome to another edition of The One Team We Agree On. I'm Jillian.
And I'm Kyle, and this is a very special episode.
Yes, it is.
It is episode 50.
We made it.
We did make it, and surprisingly, I mean, let's be honest. Are we surprised? Not really, but I kind of am.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of cool. We did 50 episodes. So
yeah.
So on today's show, we are going to catch up a little bit. It's been a while. I mean, we did have that bonus episode with Todd Lewis.
It was kind of our 50th. This is our official 50th.
So. Yes. Which we were hoping to be sooner, but of course, scheduling conflicts with some of the guests we had lined up. It's life. That's really how I look at it. And then the computer died.
So Kyle got a new computer. So here we are. Hopefully the video quality on everybody's end looks better.
Yeah. So, but let's before we get started, what are we wearing today?
All right. Well, we're in the playoffs, and I thought it appropriate to wear it's Philly or nothing. Okay. Shirt that I got at our first playoff game back in 2019. Everyone will remember that playoff game against Red Bulls. And that was the first playoff game that was held at the Sub.
Mm-hmm.
And we won in thrilling fashion, 4-3.
Yep.
Okay. So we were right there in the river end. On the other side, we were in like 138, I think we were sitting in. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a memorable night, and that's kind of rainy, but it was a great atmosphere, and really that kind of got us on the path of our Union fandom. I mean, obviously we were hooked from day one, but
that took it to another level.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So, but before we get started, make sure to follow us on
all your major podcasting platforms and on social media as well.
Yes, on Twitter, the One Team We Agree On.
Yes.
And we are on Facebook, Google, Apple, and Spotify as well. So it has been a while since I've read that. Obviously, I am rusty, but
meanwhile, our friends are like, of course, Kyle messed that up.
Whatever.
They just like to roast you, Kyle.
They do. And that's kind of the cool thing about this is, all the friends we've made along the way.
Yes, it was about the friends we made along the way, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I do love our group of friends. Shout out to everybody listening that we've met because of this. I mean, a year ago, not on the exact date, but it was this Friday.
We left for the MLS
Cup. We were flying out of BWI to LA. And yeah, so.
And this is where we had the thought of a podcast, but
right before we went to the Cup, yeah.
We were thinking about doing something post-Cup. Weren't sure, but yeah, I mean, funny how, what a year makes. And
yeah, our first episode, we discussed the Cup.
We did.
And our experiences and how we became to be fans. And man, we've come a long way. And we're going to recount some of that stuff today, along with talking about the playoffs.
Yep. And kind of just getting our thoughts about this first game. And then, but again, if you haven't liked or subscribed, either on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or YouTube, please consider. It means a lot to us. I think for me personally and for you, all the work we've been putting behind the scenes, it's been really awesome to see it starting to pay off.
Yeah. And also let's talk about what you're wearing, Kyle, because we got off on a tangent there a little bit.
We did.
And we were talking about me.
So it's something I've never worn. I got this year actually. And it is the Andre Blake. Well, it's a goalkeeper kit, but obviously he's big, he's blue. Andre Blake. We all know how that goes.
And my friend Jane and I could finish that sentence for you.
You could, and Jane's probably listening. Hi, Jane. Go Dolphins. Go
Birds. Oh, what happened? By the way, while we were wearing those Kelly Green jerseys, what happened, Kyle?
Eagles won.
Yeah.
I got nothing to say on that. But anyway, it's playoff, and Andre has always been very good in playoffs, statistically. So first time wearing this, thought it'd be appropriate since he had a good game last Saturday.
He was excellent. Yes, we'll talk more about that in a second, but
So yeah,
yeah.
let's dive into it. So we had a busy day last Saturday. We had a swim meet in the morning, and then
Yeah, all the way across the state. We were out in Chambersburg.
yeah, and then we drove all the way over, got there in time. So I'm gonna let you kind of take this away because obviously you were in the river end, I was up
Mhm.
in the press box, and kind of you hung out after I went up there right
Right.
away.
Yep.
So I kind of left you with Mike and pulled me. So kind of talk to me because I really wasn't at the tailgate much this year. What was the experience like? The atmosphere?
So I thought, yeah, I got there right when it was last call and the food was done and all of that. So we did not partake in any of that, but there was a good crowd on hand,
There
a lot
was.
of buzz, when it's playoffs. I remember last year when it was the playoffs, just how I just felt this energy and we're having such a good time. And we'd been there for several hours and it's like, man, the game hasn't even started yet. And we're having like so much fun and we are so revved up for this. So, um, I could feel a lot of that same energy. I think, maybe not as much as sometimes, but I think it's just because it's been such a long season.
Hmm.
So you don't get the same vibe, but I think people were pretty pumped still. And the tailgate had a good crowd. We had a good march in going on. We actually were given bags of candy because it
Hmm.
was near Halloween. We were given bags of candy to toss out to people. So I was like tossing it to little kids as we were marching in.
That's cool.
Yeah, handing out candy. So that was fun. And yeah, we did our march in and good crowd. And yeah, so I went in. Saw one of my students as soon as I walked in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They were giving out the rally towels. So I have yet another rally towel for the collection.
Right.
One of my students said this week, they're like, wow, you have a lot of things for the union on your wall. You have a lot of towels. I was like, yes, I do. And I plan to have more on there as well. Also, if anyone from the union is listening, I would love one of those banners that hangs around the city for the playoffs. Just saying, what can I do to get one of those? I know they gave them away randomly to people. Please, what do I need to do to get one of those? Okay.
Yeah.
Just saying. Just asking.
My question is where we're gonna put it.
Oh no, I would put it in my classroom. I have a
All
wall
right.
I could put that on.
You do actually.
I do. And
Speaking of walls, this is foreshadowing. This during the off season is going to get redone.
yeah,
So
there's too much of your teams there.
I
Okay.
think yeah, we're gonna have
Also,
enough.
I'm hoping that 2017 on this banner is not going to be the only number on there soon.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if it was an Eagles Dolphins Super Bowl?
No.
Let's hope that doesn't happen. Just the Eagles in the Super Bowl.
Or the
Sorry, Kyle.
Dolphins. Um,
No.
so you did manage to purchase one of the playoff t-shirts, kind of keeping tradition where we got one of the playoff t-shirts.
I did.
What is your overall thought on the logo this year?
I like it. And actually, gosh, I should have that with me right here.
Yeah.
I'm slacking on it. I will grab it. But I like it. I think maybe I like the ones from the last 2 years better
Yeah.
with the snakes, but it's pretty cool. And I will grab that in a second. Okay. So, Kyle, you can talk a second.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, it's nice. Is it my favorite? No, it's not. What I do think it is, I think it would be a very sick tattoo. That'd be a really nice piece you can get on your back. I really feel like that's almost like a tattoo piece for me personally, but I really do like it. But again, it's probably not my favorite. But anyway, so you
Speaking of
have it.
tattoos, if I'm gonna get a tattoo ever, it's probably gonna be like the playoff snake, the one from
Yeah.
like one of the last 2 years. Okay. First, though, I'll show the rally towel that everyone got.
All right.
Okay. Since you were in the press box, you didn't get one, but I acquired an extra one.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the striped gold. I get why they're saying that, snake in the cup, but
Yeah, I like the whole like lightning bolt thing going
yeah,
on in the
yeah, I
background. I
do
think that's
too.
pretty
I think
thick.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, all right. So, of course, I promptly went to the team store and I bought the shirt. So, the front, and it's navy blue, the front has the crust here on the corner. Okay. And it is kind of a sparkly gold color, which I like. I like sparkles. Okay. And the back is also the same printing. It's like a sparkly gold with the snake with its tongue sticking out, and I like how the teeth are kind of like lightning bolts there. That's cool.
Like I said, it's really cool. But yeah, the
In the
play.
team store, it's $50 though for a t-shirt. Some people were complaining about that. It cost me less with the season ticket member discount, so it's still less than I paid for the concert t-shirt. Which I have zero regrets on. It was a good t-shirt. Yes.
No, it was. And so, like you said, you marched in, got T-shirt, and you went to River End. I was up
Mhm.
in the press box, obviously.
Oh, and I actually bought food in the stadium for the first time in forever because I missed the
Oh,
tailgate, basically.
where'd you go?
I went and got a chicken sandwich. I didn't get a
You didn't
donut.
get the donuts. Oh,
I didn't get
come
the
on.
donuts. I'm sorry, Kyle.
Boo,
Sorry, I wasn't in the mood for a donut. I got
boo.
the chicken sandwich, which was good.
I know Todd Albert's booing. He's booing
and
you.
and it's funny because I think is it Billy or no, it wasn't Billy. It was Drew. It was like, oh, you're actually eating up here. I'm like, yeah, I know. I know. I was like, I missed the tailgate. I'm sorry. I mean, I missed most of it. So it was funny because yeah, I'm like, the only time I ever eat anything or buy anything in the stadium, like food and drink wise, I usually get a water, but then like I don't even get beer or anything in there. Usually you do, but I
Yeah.
don't like when you're in the stands, that is. But yeah, no, the chicken sandwich was pretty good. So but yeah, that was good for me. And then yeah, this our section was bringing it. It get
Yeah, so let's talk about that because, like I said, I was up in the press box, and as the stadium was filling, as they were kind of doing all the pregame festivities, um, we're looking around, and I remember I said to a couple guys sitting next to me, I had Jimmy King on my right, and then I had Lewis was on
you
my
had the
left.
crew up there.
We did. We had the
It was a
whole crew up
good
there.
lineup up there.
Yeah, it was. And we're looking and we're all saying to ourselves, this just doesn't feel like a playoff game. It
I
wasn't
was hearing that a
packed.
lot.
Even the river end, right at kind of as the game, like they were warming up, it wasn't really full. So it almost felt like just I think I forget if it was me or Ty were like, it seems like a Wednesday night game, like in the
Well,
middle of summer. Now,
it was weird because it was an earlier start. We're like,
yeah,
of course it's an earlier start when we have to come from across the state. Go figure.
right. But it just felt like maybe it was the weather. I don't know. It just
It was
didn't.
beautiful weather for
It
once.
was,
It was October and it was gorgeous out and didn't need a coat or anything.
but I think at the same time, I don't know if that played a part or it was just soccer fatigue, like we've been saying all along
Mm-hmm.
here. But yeah, I mean, when they started to march out and all that, the river end started to fill in. It kind of started the whole stadium, like kind of right around as the game started kicking off there, it started to fill in. So, but it just didn't have that vibe. Now, I will say, the Tifo, I like the Tifo.
Yeah. I thought
I
the
thought
TIFO was great.
I thought it was great, and I thought the smoke and like kind of fireworks going off in the river
Yeah.
end
Yes, we had fireworks and stuff like behind us in the river run, which was
that was
awesome.
really cool. And I kept saying, man, I wish it was fuller because I think this would have been an awesome
Oh
atmosphere
my
at
God,
night.
yeah.
And that's something I'd love to see us do moving forward, actually, because that
Hmm.
was pretty cool. Uh, but yeah, like, I mean, what was your experience like down there experiencing all this, like the march out? Because you guys did have very good energy from my vantage point, but I kind of wanted to get your take on that.
Yeah, I thought we had good energy once people started filling in there and everyone had the rally towels going. So
Yeah,
that's
that was
fun.
cool.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it filled in and we got it going then. Cause at first I was a little concerned, like, oh, wow, there's a lot of empty seats still, but it got filled in. And at least 136 was chanting pretty good. Sometimes, I mean, sometimes I look over and there's just people just kind of standing there and not
Yeah.
chanting. And it's like, it's frustrating because props to the supporter groups and some of the other teams that really get like Cincy, LAFC. I hate to say it like some of those teams, but they their supporter sections really are good,
They are.
you know.
But so is ours.
Ours is, I think part of the problem is we don't have, first of all, we don't have the safe standing thing like some of them do, which I think plays a part.
Mm,
If you take away the seats, people aren't going to sit. Okay.
no.
But I kind of like having the seat to sit in during
Yeah.
the half, during the break. But also, I think because we're not as loud as we could be because we don't have the roof thing that, a lot of places have that traps the sound a bit. So I think that plays into it a little bit too. But I don't know if moving forward, having because it's like the cheap seats. Some people go in there and don't really know what to do.
I mean, we've had this
We've had this
discussion
discussion at
many
over and
times.
over, and I don't want to like get into all that
Yeah.
again. But I think especially once we had our first goal, it was rocking.
Yeah, so let's talk about the game itself, kind of share some thoughts here. I thought starting out, New England came out and they kind of were a little bit more aggressive. And then, of course, you have that play down there where the ball kind of shot outside, ricochets off.
Those dangerous plays in there.
Yeah, and then like almost rebounds Blake, kind of gets it out. And then there's that pause. From our vantage point, we're like, oh, is that a goal? Because I didn't know if it went down. And one of my buddies
Yeah,
was
I
like,
was worried at first too with that.
yeah, and then it looked like it didn't. So I don't know if that was a wake-up call, but I just remember sitting there going, oh no, here we go. Because I really thought that at that point, New England had the momentum a lot. Union kind of were, back a little bit. But then I felt after that, they kind of got into a groove a little bit. And let's talk about the first goal, the penalty kick by but the foul leading up to it,
Well, 100% it's a PK.
Well, I want to say I thought Julian did an excellent job of hustling, because
Yes.
that was at the part where we were starting to almost get some really good opportunities.
Yes.
I thought Gazdag should had the header, kind of could have done a lot better. And that's just been the theme with him. I don't know if he's getting tired or what. Just hasn't been sharp. But
maybe he shouldn't have taken that number 10.
Maybe
A
not.
lot of people are like, oh, he's been that was good since he took the number 10.
I think there's many factors.
So.
I don't think he is a 10. I think he's a hybrid, but at the same time, he does a lot. I mean,
he is money from the spot, though.
He's money from the spot, and he still does a lot of good stuff.
But you know what?
He also has a lot of assists. He's also had a lot of assists this year. So I mean, it's not like he's not contributing, but that's the place like, Dan, you gotta convert on that, or at least get ahead on it. And then
yes, of course the crowd was chanting that you're not gonna see it, and of course I'm like, and I will not be saying that chant, because I feel I just like have this strong stance of I am not chanting that.
No, not chanting that. But again, back to great heads up there, by Julian, draws penalty.
Yes.
And
how many penalties has he drawn? He's definitely drawn a bunch, which good on him.
He does a great job at that. Ua has done a great job. Sometimes I almost feel like,
do they flop sometimes?
Yeah, he was trying to, and
part of the game.
Jim has even mentioned that, like, sometimes, and I get it. They're trying to draw contact to get that opportunity, especially when you have a guy like him that can convert that high.
I mean, when you get that goal there, man, like going up 1-0 fairly early in the game.
Do you know what the whole discussion was in the press box?
What?
We're up 1-0, and we've seen this before. We go up early, and then we're going to sit back. So I'm sitting there going, all right, we need to get at least 3 goals by this half. And the Union started playing. Once they got that first goal, it's like, all right, let's get going. And they started to see the energy getting a little bit. I felt like they started finding some things in the defense of New England. And let's talk about the second goal. Kai goes down the end, and the cross. And was this his best cross? No, I mean, it wasn't the greatest cross. But here's what I like: it's like the hockey analogy. You hear it all the time, just getting that puck on the net. Same analogy as ours. Sometimes you just get that ball inside that box there. You got guys crashing.
Yeah.
Things deflect, bounce, boom, right there. But gets the ball in, kind of deflects, almost an own goal.
Almost an own goal, yep.
And Ua,
right place at the right time.
Right place at the right time.
And we've been needing that so much.
You could say that's a lucky goal, and I'm going to say that's a fair question, but that's also, great awareness. That's a striker being in the right place, knowing where he needs to be, and putting that finishing touch on it. Because at times we've seen him miss sitters like that.
But we need that. How many times have we had the ball like, oh man, no one was there?
Well,
someone was there this time,
and that's what happened.
That's what we need.
Also, I think for him and for the team success moving forward, we need to see more of that from Mikel. because if you remember last year, he didn't have a goal in the playoffs at all
which is shocking considering how many goals he had last season, you know?
compared to this year. So that's good. I'm sure that's and he seemed very happy in the, player interview after the game. So I think for him, gets the confidence. And I mean, he almost had another one in the second half, which we'll talk about a
Yes.
little bit. But
Let's talk about also, how about that, when Carlos Heel went down,
yeah,
how like Mikel just like body checked him basically.
yeah, you could have said that was a card.
I don't think it was a card, but
Yeah, I've seen people
kind of
fall
ran
for
into him.
less, but at the same time,
It was just kind of funny to me. It was almost like, it was just like he just like ran him, and like Mikel was just like a brick wall there. It was
yeah,
like bam.
I mean,
I don't like seeing him get injured, but it was kind of like, just I thought it was almost kind of funny how it went down.
it was. But and so then and that was a key piece because right
You're
there's your
taking like a,
playmaker, your
yeah.
number playmaker, and now he's out. So the Union really started attack. The third goal I thought was my favorite of the
Oh,
night, and it was a
chef's kiss.
beautiful ball on that set piece from Kai, and it went right in. Now you could say maybe New England set piece defense could have been better. And I would say that again, that's very fair.
Mm-hmm.
But the athleticism from Nate Harrell, once again, I think
Mm-hmm.
that, and I want to get this right, it's either his third or fourth headed goal this year. Somebody can, if you're in the comments, you can correct me, but I'm pretty sure it's either three or four this year. But just the athleticism to get up. And right now, and I've heard a couple other people say, he's our best set piece player. I mean, he is so dangerous anytime. And now people are calling him Ariel Harriel, which
Yes.
I kind of like. I mean, I
Yes.
mean, I'm
I
all
think
for
Dave
that.
Leno was calling him that on there.
But it's
Yeah.
just getting up there, puts that beautiful ball in the back of net. We're up 3-0.
What he got some air on that. I mean, it was just timed perfectly. And how many times have we're like, oh, we can't get the ball past the first defender, you know?
Yeah. And so you go into the half and everybody's saying, "Oh man, this is great. You're up 3-0. This is exactly what we want to see." And I'm agreeing. I kept saying though, I want to see them come out because we've seen this a couple times recently with Cincinnati and a couple other games here where we're just up 1-2 goals and we just lay an egg that second half. And to Union's credit, I thought they came out in that second half, and I even made a comment to I forget who it was, that I almost thought there for the first 10 minutes, the Union were putting shots on that. I mean, Ua almost had one, but Danny got in the way.
Yeah, that one was frustrating.
We were creating chances. The problem was we weren't putting anything on net. And that was a little like, oh man, like you get a great shot, a great opportunity, and just go wide. And it's like, if we could convert them, and Jim even said, you could easily had 6 goals that game. I
Oh, for
really
sure.
feel and really put them out. But what happens? You get a turnover, and Jim joked with Nate again about this. That's
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
And then you got Bo coming down, now, and Bo's a great player. All right, he is a very good player. Beats Ariel, and then puts the ball in back and net, and it's 3-1. Now all of a sudden, that momentum that we had is completely out the door.
Yeah.
And we're all sitting there going, "Oh
We're like,
no,
oh no, is this gonna be like Cincy or like Atlanta? We're like, oh
and
crap.
it
We're
just
back.
kind of now." And this is where Blake comes in. Blake had enough, I thought, clutch saves that second half. I mean, there was 2 or 3 where it could easily been 3-2.
He was tremendous.
That second half really keeping the ball out of the net. But at the same time, this is New England. This isn't Cincinnati. This isn't Columbus. This isn't LAFC. Um, we can't be doing that against some of these other teams where we're just sitting back on their heels. So
right, because if you do that, they're gonna come back at us, and they easily could have gotten it 3-2, and then you're like, oh crap, at that point. So I thought Andre was putting on a clinic. Andre was fantastic.
Yeah.
I thought Damian Lowe was fantastic.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Second half. Well, in the entire game, who and what stood out to you the most?
All right. So of course, when the lineup came out, we're like, oh crap, no Jacob Glesnes.
Which we'll talk about.
Yeah. So we're like, okay. And We're like, okay, thank God we have Jose Martinez back.
Mhm.
Jose was awesome. I thought Jose had a great game.
I thought he was phenomenal.
It's very clear, what a difference he makes when he's in the game, because we surely missed him when we were up at New England. And we just we missed him so much in that. So having him there, he makes so many good plays throughout the game. And then of course I thought Bedoya, you know, he had moments where he was really good. Of course you know, was it his best game ever? No, but he started out pretty good, I thought. But to me, the biggest ones though, I thought Harriel was awesome, except for when he, allowed that goal to happen.
Yeah, which he shouldn't have,
Which,
but
yeah, I know Jim kind of roasted on him when he was
no,
getting
sure.
interviewed. When he was getting interviewed, Jim just walks back, he walks behind and he's like, he mentions, oh,
Yeah,
ask him about that goal he allowed or something like that.
yeah, I was standing
That
right
was
there, and
funny.
I'm like,
Yeah. Uh, and love Jim.
I think at third time I was like, wow.
Yeah, that's like that's cool. Oh, Jim.
He
It
was
was it was
kidding, but
just funny. If you haven't seen it, look that up. It's on social media.
I think
But
Jose has it on
yeah,
his.
yeah, Jose Nunez, I think got the clip, but that was pretty funny. But I thought Damien was excellent. He has been like a guy to step up in big moments. And I thought he filled in really nicely. I guess we're not gonna have three center backs. We're not gonna have three in the back movie.
Well,
Or
you never know. I
what is it
mean,
gonna be, Macania time?
no,
I
I
don't think so.
no, no, no,
No,
no,
no,
no,
no,
no.
no. We're not bringing the kid in the playoffs, but
No, and it's not. I think I thought for me who stood out, Lowe stood out, and I feel it's because he's on the right side and not on the
mhm,
left when he's in the diamond. I feel like sometimes he's a little bit more susceptible on that side, if that
yeah.
makes sense. I mean, comment below what you think about who played the best, but I,
Kai as well.
I thought that Lowe was very good on the night.
Mhm.
My concern with him going forward is when he's on, he's very good, but
Sometimes
he
makes
can have a
mistakes.
clunker,
Mhm.
and against really good teams, he can have a clunker, and he can make some bad decisions sometimes as well. He gets a little too aggressive, but on the night he was excellent.
Mhm.
That I thought Kai was good
Mhm.
with his ball, and he did a good job defensively as well.
Nice.
And then Jose Martinez, I thought was outstanding.
Yes.
Blake obviously just kept us in the
Yeah.
game. Those are the four players that really stood out to me. Um, where I was a little concerned was at times, I feel like Julian he does a lot like he did a great play there, but it's like there was one or two plays where I'm like, Julian, just calm down. Don't try to force a goal. Like let the game come to you. And he does that sometimes. And I think hopefully here in the next game or two, hopefully next game, he gets 1-2 and kind of gets back in his rhythm. But overall, I left there saying, okay, that was a good win.
Mhm.
Obviously, if we would have lost, that probably was going to be the end. 'Cause I don't know, even with us leading, how we're going to do on Wednesday in New England. There's a lot of question marks, obviously, but also we've had success in New England, but still it's the playoffs. Horace Heald's going to be back. The
Right.
coach confirmed it.
Yep.
So, now New England's going to come out, you know,
Yeah.
running hard. They're now going to be on the attack. So, how do the Union defend it? And that's what I'm going to be curious about.
Mhm.
But my final thought here for you is, did 136 bring it? And what was the overall atmosphere in the River End?
We had some really good chants going on. I think at times, I will say this, there was a planned, use, like it was planned to not use the megaphones as much.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's way less of it. So those of you who were able to, watch it, hopefully you noticed a difference. But there was a little bit more on the way of organic chants going on.
I did notice that.
I was told, and I can't hear the KSU as much
Mhm.
because I'm all the way over in 136, but I did hear that there was times where it's like the Sons of Ben and KSU are competing at. I like when we can coordinate and do things together and combine our powers a bit. But I will say there was one point where I guess, well, I think it was after we scored and then New England, like, group of fans that they had for trying to, start, like, they were starting to being they started being loud actually and chanting, and good for them for trying to lift their team up a bit after they went
Right.
down. We do the same thing, but our fans immediately started trying to drown them out and were successful at it.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah, because we managed that, and then of course, yeah, we had different chants going on, and I would say, well, after Gazdag scored, we did the Gazdag's on fire. After it was scored, we did a really good chant of it was chant there with Mikel Ua, the one. But I thought it was all right. I thought we did pretty well. And so we need more of that though. Hopefully if we do have more home games that we can really bring it. I know the last regular season game that was up in New England, apparently there was a good number of Union fans that went to that.
Yeah.
I don't know about the one this Wednesday because I heard that that trip,
Yeah, I
the Philly
heard.
sports trips got canceled.
But
But
there's that bus,
yes,
and that's a very affordable option. I
and
actually have thought about that.
the tough thing is it's midweek.
I know, and that's gonna be tough for
And for
us.
those of us who, we with our work schedules and things,
Yeah,
it's hard to just take off and go to that. And so I wish I could go to that, but I do hope a lot of fans go. I know some people going to it. So if
good.
you are going, bring it. Okay, make us
Yeah,
proud. We'll be cheering from home. It's I'm gonna miss like the first half of the game because of coaching, but do what I can. But yeah, so hopefully we can bring it there and win. But if we don't win there and it has to come back to Sub, is it the worst thing ever? No, but it would sure be nice to just win it and to have it done, not have to worry about it.
right.
But if it has to come back to the Sub, is it the worst thing ever? No, because you understand how much of a break there will be till the next round.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that in a little bit because I do have some thoughts on that. But I want to real quick, just an update from Jim. He did mention this was kind of funny because Jim was just answering questions left and right. I was in the back,
Hmm.
and I was just kind of doing what either you or I do post game, where we just give some of the comments on our
Yeah.
feed. And all of a sudden, somebody asked about Jacob, and Jim confirmed that he's done for the season. That the
Well,
her
most likely, unless he could be back.
yeah,
I think if like say we make the cup or something, but
he said weeks. So I
weeks.
mean,
Yeah.
and those kind of injuries can take anywhere. And now I'm not a doctor, but just research and like what I remember being told from trainers, at the college level, when you get these kind of things, it can take anywhere from a month to 3 months. So yes, there is possibility he gets back in time for the
Like
cup.
I said, he needs Bryce Harper's superhuman healing
My
powers.
question is though, with those kind of injuries, you can tear them easily too if you come back. So,
Careful.
and with the short, even let's say we make the cup,
Mhm.
we probably won't have that much time off uh, till we're playing in the CCC in February because they're going to start earlier. So, do you want to risk that? Obviously, Jacob's a gamer, so we'll see how that happens. He also did mention that Ty had a little minor knock,
Mhm.
nothing, but that also he's going to be traveling with Israel because they got some makeup games,
Mhm.
obviously, and they're playing like 4 games in that window. So he might be back for Wednesday. I don't want to speculate, but he may sound like he might be part. I guess,
I think he could be back for Wednesday, but
but
then if it goes to that,
Sunday,
yeah, if it goes to Sunday,
yeah,
then
he
he
won't
probably
be.
wouldn't be then.
So that's interesting. I guess final thoughts. Do you think the Union are back? Because this was a question in the press box. It was kind of a joke. It's like, oh, the Union back or the Union back. Where are you at on this?
I will say it was encouraging.
Okay.
I It was very encouraging. I felt that it was like, yeah, this is the team we thought they could be. The way they went and scored 3 goals in the first half. Now, I was hoping they'd come out and score more in the second half, keep that
Yeah.
rolling. It's not like it's an aggregate thing like it was in like the CCL and all that, but So it didn't, at this point, a win is a win, but still, I think that would have been good to see more of that. But I will say this, it felt more like Union are back, but at the same time, we definitely have some things we need to clean up.
We do. I mean, for me, I'm gonna say it it has, as I said earlier, this year, signs and symptoms of things from a historic year. And again, it was a historic year.
It's hard to top last year.
Yeah. And I never expected us to. There were flashes of it at that game.
Right.
Just like there has been these last couple months. But it's still not where it needs to be. Now, having said that, what would it take for you to be like, okay, we're back. We're back.
Yeah.
What would it take?
I think if we go out and have a decisive win in New England, on the road, go and, we win like by like a good 2 goals or so.
Then that's fair. I think for me, we gotta go. If we end up playing Cincinnati,
That's gonna be the true test
we
if we get
gotta
to
go
that.
on Cincinnati, win on the road, and then go.
Mhm.
Like we have to get to the finals. Like that's where I'm gonna say, okay, we get to the finals. Maybe things don't go our way. Okay, we got back to the finals. I mean, that's where I'm gonna be like, all right, great. Now you can, and I trust me, I've looked at the statistics, and there's some really impressive statistics over these last 2 years. But and Jim, we've talked about has coached so many streaks and points and all that. We still need to get some hardware out of this era because
Yeah.
I mean, if we're honest, this is probably going to be the end of an era of Philadelphia Union. Now, that's
This
not
is
necessarily a bad thing because sometimes eras build upon eras, and that's what you want to hope. Hopefully, the next cycle coming through players lifts them up, and like I said last year, um, after the MLS Cup, I still believe the Union one day are going to win a cup. Is it this year? Maybe, probably not, but it could be. It's going to happen when we least expect it, and no one's expecting it right now. So maybe that's the glimmer of
Maybe we
hope.
go and get hot. Maybe you never know. We could be getting hot now.
Absolutely.
That's what can happen.
So that's kind of a hope, a little bit of a glimmer of hope there. But again, impressive game. Took care of business at home. Now on to New England. Let's see if we can finish it off. Playoff format.
Sucks.
Yeah, that's where we're going to be with that because I wanted to touch on that. Yeah, I just feel this is. I heard. Was it?
It's a money grab.
It is, but I also heard John Tolkien after that first game going, "Yeah, we're getting ready for basically a paraphrase." He basically said, yeah, we lost, but the goals differential doesn't matter. And we were talking about that in the press box. 3-1, and you have an away aggregate for New England, and then they were to, let's say, go to New England, beat us 2-0. They still, and now it's 3-3. They still have that 1 goal aggregate. You know what I'm saying? So I feel with this playoff format, it's drawn out. Like
It wasn't broken. Why did they feel they need to fix
even
it?
if they even if they did this, we should have started the playoffs sooner. We
Yes.
should have maybe early on in the season condensed some games, started the season sooner because then you could just we should really theoretically be getting ready for either the conference finals and
Like I
then
said, we were
and then you have the international break and then all the players can go and rest.
granted,
That would have been ideal. And
like,
now everybody has rest. But
last year, of course, it was all moved up because of the World Cup. But this was the weekend of the Cup right now. Seriously.
Yeah, and then all these games for all these players this year. And it's been a lot. Even the teams that didn't make the playoffs. And now
That is grueling.
it is grueling. And so I want to bring up another topic. It was announced today that Messi and Inter Miami are going to play NYCFC in a friendly, and I believe it's November.
Do you all hear me rolling my eyes?
A friendly in the middle of playoffs when neither team made the playoffs, and players are kind of, trying to
give the guys some rest. Goodness sakes.
Again, it's all about the money. I'm not saying we're going backwards, but this is an opportunity. The league needs to go to Apple and say, look, we have this great deal. We love you guys. This is great. We're moving forward. But maybe we need to retweak some things here, how we're doing stuff. Will that happen? Absolutely not, because of the money.
Oh my gosh. And as I saw some people saying on Twitter, like, shocking that they're not having it Yankee Stadium because that has so many more seats in it that they would definitely sell because of all the messy fans. The game's going to be in Miami, but like, good grief. Now, of course, it's going to take all kinds of, this is right during the playoffs. And
Yep.
so, of course, because the MLS couldn't get what they wanted with having Messi in the playoffs. Do you understand how much we'd be hit over the head with Messi right now if they had made the playoffs? Thank God they didn't make the playoffs.
Are you a Messi insider?
God, no.
So,
And
yeah,
and the thing is, it's like, it's not that I don't like Messi. I mean, before he was in MLS, it's like, okay, I respect the guy. He's a good player. And I'd have students or
yeah.
they'd be ask me like Messi or Ronaldo, and I'd always be like Messi. But good God, I am so it's like it's how I feel about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift right now. It's like, okay, that was cool at first, but now I'm freaking sick of it. Like, move on.
Right.
Okay. I'm tired of all the attention. Like, okay, it was that was exciting. That was cool. Move on.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. And then also with these breaks coming up, like FC Cincinnati wins on tomorrow against Red Bull. They're gonna have 2 weeks off. That is way too long for.
Selfishly, I want Red Bull to go and beat Cincy.
I do too, but it's just, even
It'll
if the
come back to
Union would
we'll
were to
play at the
win,
Sub if we have to play Red Bull.
we have so much break. It's so hard to get momentum. And again, it's just like, what team? What team is literally, now you can say, oh, they're all in same playing field. Yes, but when a team gets momentum, then you get 2 weeks off, all the momentum's off. So now
It's bull crap. Like,
it is.
seriously. And I feel for these guys because it's so drawn out. And then
It
they're gonna
really is.
get like no recovery time between, especially like if they, if you go to the cup and then you have like no recovery time hardly before you have to start preseason again.
No, and then that's not
And we
good.
come from, okay, so we have swimming background and that is year round. We have like our team, we have like
We
a
have
week off around Easter and we have like two
two
or
weeks
three
there.
weeks off around, in August. That's it. We're
But
year round.
but there's built-in recovery cycles within the
Yeah,
sport
with
at
our
the.
training, it changes, and we don't
Yeah,
have
and
meets all the time, but still, it's like, it's long. But, even like as a coach, I'm not even the athlete anymore, and it's like, that's a grueling season, you know?
it is. So, yeah, we're not fans of this, but we'll see what changes. So, do we want to talk about the other situation?
I think it needs to be said.
All right. I mean, yes. So if everybody has heard that by now about Kai Wagner, and it was reported by in the Athletic, that
There are allegations that
you know
Kai said a racial slur.
towards Bobby Wood, New England. The league is currently investigating. Um, and a lot of people, are. I mean, I heard a player from New England. I think it was Jose that posted it. Gave his side of the story of like kind of what he was
Mhm.
seeing, not like literally, but it kind of was the first player to kind of speak out. We
Right,
haven't heard anything from anybody else. And right
right.
now, the investigation's still going. I mean, at the end of the day,
Not gonna speculate,
no, we're
and
not. We're not speculating or
waiting to
anything.
see
We'll see what
this
happens.
waiting to see this investigation play through, and on
Honestly, at the end of the
and
day,
I'm a huge Kai Wagner fan. I love Kai, but if he said something like that, yeah, it needs to be addressed and he needs to do whatever to make it right. And whatever penalty there is,
that's
this is bigger than soccer. And you don't say those kind of things. And from what it
no,
sounds like, he and Bobby were, going back and forth in German, because as we know,
yep.
he put
But
Bobby knows German and he played in Germany and everything. And so I'll wait to see what the facts are on this. And
and that's it.
yeah,
Let's see what the
I
investigation
hope
holds.
that it's handled correctly, and
That's my big
whatever
thing.
the penalty that's imposed, I hope that if it is true, that Kai just owns up to it and does what he
Yep.
needs to do to make the situation right. And I think in the end, he'll be more respected for it if he does take responsibility, if it is true. And does what he needs to do to make this right. I mean, I hate cancel culture, I really do, but I also feel like, you know,
Well,
you do need to understand there are consequences for actions.
and let's be honest, racism at any
There is no
level,
place for it.
no place, no wow, no context, nothing. I mean, it's totally unacceptable. So,
And like I said, I love Kai, but I am if this is true, I'm utterly disappointed and I hate that even this situation has come up. So,
yeah,
and I'm fully on board with whatever penalties be
that's all right.
imposed, whatever the findings are, it is what it is. And union will be next man up, and it is what it is.
It is what
So, that's where I stand on it. And so, but yeah, absolutely no place in this in soccer or sports for racism or any kind of discrimination like that.
couldn't say it better myself.
So hopefully, we haven't heard anything yet as of recording this.
Nope. The only thing we've heard from it was that player from New England. And he was again just
And what I find interesting is, Damian Lowe was one of the people that was closer to the action, and he's been through the situation himself.
yeah. But
So
again, we don't want to speculate.
no,
And so, but yeah, that's our thoughts on that. And we'll, once everything comes out, then we'll be able to formulate,
yeah,
kind of for context. But again,
yeah. What a week or so,
yeah,
because going from the whole pay Kai thing and everyone being so behind it to this, I mean, man,
yeah. So,
yeah,
uh, anyway, this is our 50th episode.
yes.
So let's finish off and talk about some of our favorite thoughts and memories. We started this podcast because of our love of the Union. A
And it is the
number,
one team we agree
and it
on.
is one team we agree on,
Yes.
but also was to try to excite people to that maybe
Yeah.
haven't seen the Union or have never gone.
Trying to do something a little different, like the fan perspective.
Yes,
And now
um,
we kind of fan and media perspective. So
but still fan. So educate and excite the fan base, and that's really what we've done. So we'll continue to grow, of course. Of course, we'll continue to evolve. But top top 5 episodes right now for you, off the top of your head, right now, just stand down. What are your top 5 episodes?
okay, my favorite one. You know what I'm gonna
Okay,
say.
I know you're gonna say Stu.
Yeah. So yeah, interviewing Stuart Finley on our 10th episode. I can't believe it was our 10th episode,
Yeah.
and we interviewed Stuart Finley, my favorite now former Union player. And that was crazy. Now, it's funny because I look back on our earlier episodes and I'm just going to say it like I kind of sucked at this at first. I mean, maybe I didn't suck, but I was definitely less experienced. And Kyle knows way more about soccer than me. Now, since becoming a like more diehard Union fan, I definitely know more. And I've come a long way from this, but I was, definitely not as confident, I would say,
Yeah.
in the beginning. So I'm sure people have noticed this, but I was just shocked to have an interview with an actual player that early, but that was really cool though. I thought we had a great interview with Stu. I would love to have him on again. He was a really good guest. We had great conversation. He's a real one. Okay. Stu is a great guy.
Mhm.
And so that was definitely a favorite. I have enjoyed when we've had guests on. That's the most fun. I love talking with you, Kyle. I do.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
it's so fun when we have guests on, especially people who are friends.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed having Todd Lewis from the Free Kick on.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed our conversation with Matt Ralph.
Yep.
I thought that was great. We could have kept talking and talking and talking. I think it was a school night and I was utterly tired, but that was a great conversation. I really enjoyed having the Slocum family
Yep.
on. For you guys know Elliot, who is special friends with Jack Elliott, and Elliot had battled cancer and he's doing great. But we've gotten to know that family and really like a lot of our friends that we've had on. I enjoyed doing the fashion with Polemy. That was
That
really
was always
fun.
fun. That one's fun. Um, for me, I think you hit a lot of them on the head. I like having Billy on early on too,
Yes, that was a good one.
because just all like some of the history of like fashion and all that.
Yes.
And then even Jeff. I mean,
Jeff Mitchell, shout out.
was
That was a
on.
good one.
Eric and Jane
Eric and
were
Jane were so
really
fun. Our next door neighbors in the river, and they're the best. They're
So
so
I'm
fun.
probably my favorite 8. So
I
yeah,
just say all the ones we've had guests on have been great, and
yeah.
we're really excited for some guests that we're gonna have coming up. You know,
Can we not jinx it though? Because we're always like, we're gonna have guests coming
I
up.
know we were so set to have a really special guest on. This is why we got
Two
delayed.
very special
Two very
guests.
special guests. Hopefully, it's still gonna happen soon. But
We got some things that hopefully all pans out. But,
yeah, I'm really excited about those ones.
So lessons learned along the way.
Well, like I said, I'm definitely more confident in podcasting. I told Kyle when we were talking, so I'm like, I don't do podcasts. I'm not someone who's I'm very introverted when it comes to a lot of things, but I have definitely come out of my shell more. And it's funny because I feel like I'm more outgoing at like the tailgates and everything, and I know so many more people. And how cool is it that we've met all these people? We have like a whole crew of people that we know. And even when you go up to the press box early or something, I am fine being down in the stands with our crew of people in our section, or I'm fine being at the tailgate because I know people, and all these friends we met along the way have been great. Or we even, go to the Wawa after the game, and there's guys like, oh, I know who you're. You're Kyle, you're Jillian. And it's like, yeah, we were out in Lancaster, and there's like, oh yeah, I know you have that podcast. It's like, that's so cool. So just getting to know people has been great. And honestly, this has been the bulk of my social life because, I'm a 30 something and you're not, but and it's just the point that's like, I don't always go out and socialize necessarily. I'm content to stay at home in sweatpants and watch Netflix and whatnot and hang out. But it's been our social life, and it's like a family. I really, really love our union family.
I do too. And that's been good. Lessons learned along the way, for me, it's just
learning how to pronounce names.
Learning how to
shout out for our friends who roast him for that.
No, I think for me it's just having patience. Just keep working, and also just keep enjoying having fun with this.
Yes.
But also trying to, do the very best we can. But also making sure we have fun, keeping true to why we created the podcast, was to try to help grow the fan base. And, that's kind of why we've done it. And it's been great to have you along the way with me. And being the one team we do agree on. And
I know I can't get you to join up with me on it. No. Wouldn't it be funny if all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, actually, Kyle, you know what you should do?
No.
You should become like a Wings fan. And I don't really like lacrosse. Like I don't follow. It's not that I don't like it. It's just like I don't care about it. I don't follow it. We could become Wings fans. Oh, and Philadelphia Soul is coming back.
But we already have Las Vegas Devil Dogs and lacrosse.
Devil Dogs, isn't that like a dessert?
No,
aren't Devil Dogs like ding dongs and ho hos and stuff?
No, I mean not Devil Dogs.
Do they still make those
Desert
things?
Dogs? It's Las Vegas.
Yeah.
No,
make Devil Dogs and like there's things.
Somebody mention in the comments. Do they still make Devil Dogs?
Devil Dogs and like ho hos and ding dongs. It's Friday night and it's been a week.
It has. So this is all for episode 50 of the One Team We Agree On. And
I love how you just like, you're like, okay, let's move on. Let's end this thing.
No,
I know.
It's just like,
I know.
I think, what was I saying? We're trying to keep it to an hour. No.
Wait, that's a very Todd thing to say.
No, I think it's been a fun episode.
No, it has.
And we'll be back for more. But
yeah, we're excited about hopefully some upcoming guests, and also we'll see what happens Wednesday and if we do have to play on Sunday. But we will, definitely keep putting some episodes out.
Yep. So stay tuned for that. And until next time, I'm Kyle.
I'm Jillian.
And we'll see you at the game.